Hey, it's Todd, aka No Static, here with some stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple of things, not the beautiful bass, that's just the model for this, but two things from Mesa. One is the Subway preamp pedal, which is down here. The other is the new D800 Plus amp, which is back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm recording direct into a Zoom H6 out of the preamp. I'm also running the through line into the front end of the amp and miking that with an MCO12 Octava condenser mic. And I'll play some stuff and then I'll loop some stuff and then twiddle the knobs, and you can hear the flexibility that's built into the D800 Plus and how it differs from the D800. So this is EMG PJs. Right now they're set passive and the strings are fairly dead. So. Still a good sounding bass. So I'll play a little bit, and this is going to be direct out of the preamp out of the Mesa Subway. All right, so this is taking the preamp out of the pedal, and that's direct into the recorder. And now this is the D800 Plus head and the Mesa Subway 112 cabinet. Everything's set flat on this, and this is through the mic. And the mic's about a foot away from the front of the cabinet. All right, now I'm going to set a loop, and then I'm going to go over and twiddle some knobs on the amp. So, ready? So this is flat, and first thing I'm going to do is roll the high pass filter up. So it's basically tightening up the low end on this. If you need to run really loud, you're at a gig, it may be a good idea to roll the high pass filter up. You can save your woofers a bit. You roll this back down, then you go to the extreme, and then you're cutting off, I think it's around 150 hertz, everything below that. The next knob is the voicing control. Right now this is set what they call flat. Get a little bit more upper mid note definition. I think there may be a little bit of a scoop going on. There's definitely some frequency. Emphasizing a little more low end. And then you're definitely more into a V-shaped setup on this. Although I love what this does with the D and the G string. It really has a nice little sort of round edge to it. So I'm going to put this back, and then when you go back to flat, you can really hear the difference. I'm going to leave it about there. The bass does what you'd expect bass to do. It's set fairly low. I think it's 80 hertz though, so you really are only getting the low notes to fill out. When I play my Rob Allen, which has a ton of low end to the piezo pickup, I oftentimes like to cut a little bass, and so an 80 hertz cut is about ideal for that. Now you got the first parametric mid, so this is your low frequencies. Right now this is set to the lowest. You can see, I think that's around 120, 150 hertz. It's a lot of that low mid thickness, or if you want to thin the cabinet out. Now you can start to see between this and the high pass filter, you can start to do some interesting things. And there's a lot of tone in this amp. This is kind of a Mesa hallmark or feature. Their guitar amps have tons of tones in them, and you really have to fiddle around with them. But once you find them, you've pretty much got it dialed in. So now, if I wanted to give a little bit more of a mid punch, I'd roll the frequency up for that. And if I wanted to get the top of the end note, so that's sort of what the voicing is doing. You can hear that same sort of little edgy round grind on the top of the notes. And then if you want to cut, you can do the same thing. So you can cut your low mids, scoop the mids, and then cut some of the gank out if you have really ganky J bass pickups. So there's a lot of throw there. You go back flat. Now the upper mid, same setup here. Although at the lowest frequency, this is up around that sort of dead mids area. And then as you roll it up, you can hear you're starting to move up the frequency spectrum. So if you really want a lot of note definition and edge, you can crank these high mids and find the sweet spot for your bass. Alternatively, if you've got a lot of sort of upper mid gank, or you've got a J bass, I've never been a J bass fan, so you can shoot me now, but you can kind of get away from that and mellow that back out by doing a cut up around this end. And then here you're back to this sort of mid scooping things. And then treble. Again, you can roll this off to get a little bit more vintagey sound, or run it flat. And the cabinet right now is running about -2 dB on the tweeter control. I can flip this back. That's straight up, so you can hear there's a little bit more of that upper note definition on it. And if you didn't like it, there's two ways you can fix that. One would be to roll it off on the cabinet. The other way would be to roll it up in the upper mids. And you've still got some sheen from the treble. So this EQ section is pretty rockin'. You can do a lot with this. You can either make your P bass sound a little bit like a J bass and vice versa. You can deal with really bad rooms, or you can just dial up a number of different tones that really float your boat. So that's about it. Mesa D800 Plus, thumbs up. Mesa Subway preamp pedal, thumbs up as well. Especially if you have to run direct a lot and you want a little EQ control, you want to take some control back from the PA guy, that pedal will do it. And that's about it. I'm Todd. Hasta luego, muchachos.